You know him, you love him, you're gonna want more of him. Here he is now, it's Chatting with Colin.
Hello, everyone. It's September 23rd. It's Tuesday. I want to remind you that we're doing an event on the Branford Green, Branford Parks, Recreation, and Senior Services. We're doing a sing-along to the movie Wicked, the first movie on the green, the first sing-along on the green, and it's this Saturday starting at 6:30. I won't be there, which I'm so bummed about because I love Wicked. Little known fact, I saw Wicked on Broadway, the second preview, and the last preview. And that's the only time I've seen Wicked. So I've only seen Wicked when it was in previews on Broadway, never since it's been opened. I've been friends with a lot of the cast members and brought a lot of the cast members to Branford. I love my Elphabas and Galindas. I can't wait for you to check out the movie. I can't wait to see the videos. Sing loud, sing strong. I'll be there in spirit, but I'm going to be loving myself on the cruise. So I leave on Saturday. I'll be gone for a week, but I think we'll have an episode coming out at some point when I'm on the cruise. Okay, everyone, we have a very special guest today. We have Alex Palluzzi Jr., who was born and raised in Branford, went to St. Mary's School, like me, went to Branford High School, like me, and then Southern Connecticut State University. He worked for the town for over 50 years and was instrumental in getting the Joe Trapasso Community House built and the Walsh Sports Field project finally finished very recently. He's very involved with all the Branford parades, the Branford Festival, the Sports Hall of Fame, Education Hall of Fame, Connecticut Recreation and Parks Association. He wears many hats, many hats, and currently he's wearing two hats as the professor at Southern Connecticut State University and Albertus Magnus. I don't know. He said he was retiring. It doesn't sound like he's retiring to me. He's a proud Branford Community Foundation and Lions Club board member. And there's just so much more that we're going to be talking about. Please welcome to the show, Chatting with Colin, Alex Palluzzi Jr.
APJR.
APJR 55. How are you?
Colin, thank you. I'm honored to be on this show. And the thing I first noticed was your beautiful shoes today.
Thank you. Can we get a wide shot? They are, yes, they're one of a kind. My best friend Kevin Gutchis designed them for me in Italy and sent them to me for my birthday a few years ago. So I only wear them on special occasions, which, Alex, you're very special.
I feel honored.
I think you've been, not on this show before, but you've been in this room before, right? I've been in this room before. It looked a little different.
Yes, it's absolutely a beautiful set.
So this was the satellite office when the community house, the Joe Trapasso Community House, was being built.
Yes.
So in like 2017, 2018, 2019, around there.
Yeah, we spent a couple long years here, but kind of came back to me when I came in the parking lot, and it was like late.
Yeah, you were late,
but
I always tell him and everyone at the community house, actually, you'll never make it in live television. Meetings don't start on time. What is a clock? We start right at 1 o'clock. Alex, it's 1:09. What the hell is going on? But I'm used to that with you, Alex.
Yeah, and Colin, what's really interesting was as I came in through town, it's tough getting around this construction.
Tell me about it.
I left,
and this isn't even the Green Project yet, which that was supposed to start in May.
No, it's all good. Branford is such a great community. One of the things that I really was happy with I was thinking about COVID today. I was talking to my students. I'm actually teaching an elementary health class at Southern Connecticut State University. I have a great class. They're learners. They want to learn. And we talked about the COVID area, what they've had to go through, not only COVID, but it goes back to the Spanish-American War when they had the last pandemic here.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, right down the street here at St. Mary Cemetery, there's some names that were enshrined back when it happened then. But it's amazing how we never thought we would see a pandemic, and they're just coming off it at a very young age. They were basically, when that happened, they were just coming into high school. So
crazy. So they really didn't have any type of normal high school experience.
No, and that's it's hard coming from ESCA, which is St. Mary's School, where I was proud graduate alumnus of there, 9 years.
What class of what? Oh, I went for 10 years because I did pre-K and kindergarten. I got you beat. What year did you graduate?
1973.
Were you the class president?
No.
I was. 1999 class president.
I was captain of the only undefeated boys basketball team.
I was not.
25-0. And also ended up coaching the basketball team there, teaching CCD at one point. And I was also the PE teacher just before I started in 1982 at the community house. So my late 70s and early 80s, I did, for one season, I coached the basketball team, and I was also the physical education teacher at that time.
Wow.
So
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Wow, that's great. So, okay, so then you get involved in Brantford Parks and Recreation for a long time, like over 50 years. How did you first come to get involved with that department?
Well, it's kind of funny because I was under the tutelage of my mentor, Joe Trapasso, and I think you might know this. Joe and I, which I'm proud of, are the only two directors of the community house until just recently,
Right.
of Dale Izzo becoming the first female ever in the history of the town of Brantford after 100 years. So for the first 100 years, there was 5 directors. The first 25 years, just 3. The last 50 years, the last 75 years, just Joe and myself. So Joe T. was a really tough, wonderful human being. As a boss, taught me the ropes. I kept my foot in the door. He saw something in me. It's hard to explain. He had a lot of good people that came through, but I was in the right place at the right time. And one thing that Joe liked about me was that I always found everything had a place. And one of my first jobs was he put me on the playground with the kids. I had 50 kids on Hammerfield. I'll never forget it. And everywhere I went, he put me on maintenance. That was back in the days when there was no union. You could work 80 hours, but you would get straight time. But that's just what we knew.
Right. Well, you always say to me that you've worked your way up to become the director. You have worked starting as a maintainer and worked in every position. And I always remind you, you've never been the arts, culture, and special events coordinator.
I've tried.
You certainly have.
But I was instrumental, obviously, and it was so important to our community in bringing that. And I was
oh my God, you, Dale, Jamie, you guys
worked really hard at it, and it was the right place, the right people in place. Margaret,
yeah,
Jamie, the support from the town administration and the people and what was needed. And Dale and I, going back to that many years, we used to have a theater program, and it was just a lot less numbers, totally different from years ago, but we had something and we were happy, and we said, let's try to bring it back. Well, little did we ever know what it would bring. And COVID really, the timing was absolutely perfect. And obviously at the time, we were looking for someone, and that right someone was kind of, was you coming back to Brantford, kind of having the same story kind of I did. Mm-hmm. Always wanted to do something in the town of Brantford. And there was a lot of people before you that preceded you, just like I had. There was talent out there. But I think you were the right person at the right time, and we needed it. And it's grown by leaps and bounds. One thing that I'm proud of is that, I got through the first 5 years of those anniversaries. It's amazing. It brings so much warmth to my heart and happiness. I get more enjoyment, I think I've told these before, as going to a ball game where I came from an athletic family to going to watch these young students express themselves.
Yeah.
And those kids were home, and they might have been on their computer or on their, social media was so much different. We didn't have it back then. But
actually, Brantford Parks and Recreation didn't have social media until I came.
Correct.
In like 2018, I think I started, just like you, working your way up. I started just doing social media and Facebook and Instagram. I think I was making like $12 an hour. Then I got up to 19 and a half hours. In February of 2020, I became the Arts, Culture, and Special Events Coordinator as part-time, permanent part-time. Right. And then it didn't even pass the first year because I think of COVID. And then the second year it did pass. So eventually I was the first hire for the town of Brantford, July 1st of 2021.
Yes, and as I told you before, it was probably the most important hire in my tenure at the rec department because it was something that was really needed, and the rest is history, because after that first year, it just grew.
It's very unique.
And-
There's not many parks and recreation departments that have such a thriving theater program. And I know you were saying students and young kids. We also do adults.
Right.
that is just as thriving. And they come from about 20 different communities all over the state to do it, because adult theater and musical theater is very few and far between. But we have people ranging in 16 to like 75 in these shows. It's crazy. Actually, you were in a show. You were one of the guest spellers in the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, our first adult musical at Walsh. What was that experience like?
I almost became a star.
Almost.
But I didn't realize that a lot of times what I was really happy to see, I was able to go to a lot of the rehearsals. So like with anything else, I started from the bottom. You got to be involved in the whole process so you can see what it actually takes. And, there's a lot of things we have to work through with bureaucracy and what we have to do. But, the bottom line is what the final product is. And I saw little that we hoped it would be good. It really, it was better than I could have ever thought of. And the kudos that I still even get from today of, bringing you in and your team and some really talented people. Again, you were at the right place at the right time. I was, Joe Trapasso, you mentioned the adults. One thing that he said to me, and I really was, that was my focus. I wanted to have programs and activities for all ages of the community, from birth to seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the arts, and what's awesome about it is that we've reached all these genres of ages throughout, and it just brings so much happiness to the people at a time when they really needed it, especially in the world that we live today.
Oh my God,
It's
I
a
know.
totally, we were talking about in my classroom today, it's, we talk about First Amendment rights, but you know what? There's all sides to every issue, and I think all of us have to somehow try to respect each side, but not be divided. And we're so divided. And I'm a middle of the road person, and I've always tried to bring the best out of both sides. And that's kind of where I try to do the best for everyone, because everyone is important, and everyone that has something to say that brings to the table. But there's too much divisiveness, and I'm hoping that in my future here that I can help to do that in the community, however I can do that. And that age group that you said about the adults coming there, we were blown away by it. It was, everyone that goes there says to me, you don't even have to go to New York City. You can stay just in your own town of Brantford to see the talent that we had there.
And it's crazy. We do it in about 20 rehearsals with everyone's crazy schedules, not having a place to rehearse consistently. And somehow it all comes together, not without a heart attack, but always I'm like, guys, Mike Martone, Paula, myself, Chris Lemieux, we don't have magic wands. This takes a lot of work and there's a lot of obstacles, but it's great because all of these other towns and communities are looking at Brantford and how we have brought so many arts programs and more concerts on the green. I think the green is the most used green in Connecticut as far as what Jamie says and things. So, and they're even looking at, there's not many towns or municipalities with an arts, culture, special events coordinator. So other towns are reaching out, asking for advice and how this has helped the community. And Brantford is such an arts driven community and sports. But I just love how well-rounded the community is and how appreciative of most things everyone is. But let's go back to your career, your 32-year career as the director of Parks and Recreation. I know you talked about the arts and Shoreline Theater Company and all of that. What are some other, like, you're most proud of things that you accomplished as the director? Yeah,
one thing that I getting back to Joe just quickly, Joe, what he saw in me was someone that was going to work more than 9 to 5, number one, that would make the effort, that wouldn't worry about working on weekends or evenings. And I knew whatever I had to do. I was in 8th grade at St. Mary's School, looking out of my classroom. I'll never forget. out of the trees. Little did I know that my colleague and friend Gary Zielinski lived across the street, and his family for all these years. And you daydream, and I kept saying, boy, I'd like to have that Joe Trapasso job someday. So I kind of set to put myself in a position. There were so many other people that came before me, but what Joe saw in me was that I didn't say no to anything. If I had to mop a floor, and one job he put me on that he really liked me on was one summer I went out there and I was in charge of making sure that all the playgrounds, all the parking lots, all the cigarette butts were picked up in those, and the ball fields and around. So when you came to a ball field, we would line the field, and Alex would make sure that I took care of it every day. It was easy because once you do it every day, so he really saw that in me. I was always very big on that, and I think to a fault. I think the first time I ever went over a piece of trash was with Gary Zielinski last week, and you guys when you were coming up to do a walk, our Wednesday walkers, which is a great thing. So it's kind of like it's born in you. You try to do that. Joe always told me, and we have great parks and we have great workers. I've had a great staff. I've been blessed with a great staff and built one. I'm really proud of that. In the 32 years that I was director, I would never have been able to be successful with that. But it's the small things that make the difference. And I'll continue to say that, you'll start to notice the parks. You'll say, well, geez, boy, that's new fencing and a new playground and splash pads and all these new playgrounds we did in town. And then all of a sudden you'll notice the flower beds that the weeds are coming in or the papers are there. And most people don't really notice that, but Joe always did and I did. And it makes a big difference. When you look at the parks, you go by them and you look at them and they look that well, people for the most part will want to keep them that way.
Attention to detail is critical, and you had a lot of attention to detail. Whenever we're on a walk,
and that was
everything.
So that was maybe to a fault, but Joe taught me that. I never, I would get criticized by people. Oh, he's just like Joe T. And that was an honor that I worked for one of the greatest Parks and Rec directors in the country. And, I was just lucky enough to do that. I was in the right place at the right time. And I built our department on people that, saw the same vision. And, I've had great administrations through the whole time I was there. I've worked for more than, 7, 8 administrations. And everyone was supportive. Everyone has been supportive. But in the last decade, it was just a little bit different. And I think because here comes a young guy by the name of Jamie Cosgrove that comes in that, I kind of knew of him. He was in some of our programs back at the community house, a quiet kid. Mm-hmm. I knew some of his other friends weren't as quiet, but, just kind of mind his own business, always kind of wondering what was in there. But I knew, when I kind of got to know him, I'm like, there's something there. There's something there that, and I saw him at some RTM meetings back, 12 years ago. And it was kind of just listening to where he was coming from, And again, I've always said one of the greatest things about Jamie Cosgrove is he holds that card. Like you just never know with him, but he always wants to keep you on your toes. And everyone says, you work for a lot of tough people in your career. But I said, Jamie Cosgrove was one of the top ones. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It was just that he had a vision, and him and I got along early on. Not that we don't now, but early on, we were there for each other because, we had the vision, but he was already ahead of the game, And when you get someone like that, there was something about that he was looking down the road and he was looking at the big picture. We looked at the small picture.
Just with the Brantford Festival, when we were all in a panic and moving it to Hammer Field, he was instrumental in looking at it a different way. He really thinks outside of the box. He wants what's best for Brantford, and he expects and demands excellence from all of his departments.
Yeah, and everyone wants to say that I was one of his guys. Well, I was just like anybody else, a department head that wanted to do a good job, and do the best I can do. And he would always, he knew how to press the button in a good way. I mean, he wanted the best, as I did and everyone else did in the departments and stuff. But it was amazing that a young guy, as I called him, that he came in to do that. And he's really had, he's had a legacy just in his short 12 years, which is kind of long. I mean, once you get to 10 years, it's a tough job
Yeah.
to handle all of it. But
I'm going to try to get him on the podcast because I want to interview him before he leaves. I want to have a cry fest. I'm going to miss him.
Yeah. I don't think I'll miss him because I'll be around him, I think, still. You know, I think he's going to be around.
You're not missing the community house because you're at the Joe Trapasso Community House, I think, 3 days a week, visiting all of us, telling us what we're doing right and wrong.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot better at that.
No,
though.
we love having you there.
Yeah.
And you brought up Wednesday walkers.
Yeah.
So I want to invite people every Wednesday from 1 to 2. We leave from the community house. We go up to town hall and we do 3 laps around the center. It ends up being like 2.5 miles. Come join. It's fun. It's a little less than an hour. We get to catch up with people. We get outside. We get moving and grooving. I was just on a meeting right before this. In 2026, America is celebrating its 250th birthday. So we're going to do some events throughout the year. But I think one of the first things I want to do is, starting in January with the Wednesday walkers, challenge all of us to get in 250 miles. And then we're going to make it like some sort of thing. I should have flushed this out before talking about it on air, but this is my process. You see the wheels turning. So something will happen. Stay tuned. But I appreciate you coming on the Wednesday Walkers when you can.
Yeah, when I can, I will. Tomorrow I'm going to try to sneak in it again. It's kind of a tight, we're kind of, my volunteer work working on the Brantford Sports Hall of Fame, we're kind of a little bit behind because, we lost some good people. I'm trying to build it back up.
Yeah.
One of the greatest groups I got involved in was the Brantford Community Foundation. I was honored.
I love it. I think I might have got you involved there.
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
And I got you set up the fund.
Yeah.
For your mom or dad or both?
My mom, actually, and then obviously that kind of catapulted into the Tally Seat Pot Fund that we.
Yeah, I want you to talk about that.
Kind of just did. I not to. We can come right back to that, but I know you were asking about what did I feel was really big, other than, obviously bringing that last program was probably one of the greatest feats that we were able to do together as a town for the right place at the right time. And, I want, just like what Jamie wants and most people want on both sides of the aisle, whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, I've been proud as an unaffiliated voter since I've been involved. And I want to, I'm middle of the road. I want to do what's best for everyone. But when everyone says, "Well, what team you're on?" I could be on everyone's team, but I'm really Team Brantford. And I think most of the people in this community are. On both sides, you're gonna have good and bad, or what you feel of it. But Brantford always does. Brantford always does what Brantford does right. Brantford does right, for its community, and we all want that. Every one of us, every taxpayer, and I want to be able to continue to do that. One thing...
You're getting very political, Alex. It sounds like you might be running for something. Are you running for something? In your retirement?
Yeah, I'm running for the Board of Education. But again, there's every candidate on both sides, there's great people. And whether you pick myself or anyone else, I know that you're going to have people that are really interested in the town of Brantford and has their heart in the right place. I think there's 11 candidates now. I believe that 6 of the 11 will win, and I might not, but it's not going to hurt me if I don't, because I know that on both sides of the aisle, there's good people that are running for office, and they're going to do good things. And if I don't get on, I'm still going to be involved with the Board of Education in the town in some.
Oh my God,
you'll
be involved. So, you were at every event, every jazz concert, every concert on the green. You made yourself available for people to come and ask you questions and give you suggestions and comments, and you were really good at that.
Thank you, Colin. The most important time to be on the Board of Education was the last 6 months for myself and 5 months for Donna Leitch. So just a great example. Donna and I know each other from working on, she helped us get our first EV vehicle. She's currently on the Board of Ed, as I am right now. We both went through the process. We were interviewed. We were unanimously got appointed. But most of the most important work was we were coming off the middle school project, and Jamie naming the stakeholder representative for the town of Brantford between the town of Brantford and the Board of Ed. And we've had that the last couple of years. So I saw that project through, which we just finished and opened for the first day of school, which is it's a showcase on the shoreline now. We're back on top, and for just every youth group, sports, education person in the town of Brantford, it doesn't matter who it is. And I was really proud of that. And then also the superintendent of schools.
Oh, Chris Tramberg. I love him.
Yeah, his contract was up, and I got involved with them in their team. And Jamie brought that together. Jim Finch, Jamie, myself, I think, Jen Aquino, a lot of good people came in to be involved in that project. And we're so proud of what Cheetah Construction was the low bidder that did a phenomenal job. We had BL Industries, who was with us all the way through, and in the community as a whole was involved. It takes 2 years.
Yeah.
It took 2 years. Everyone wants it like that, but that whole process took over 2 years. Jamie started it. We moved on. I was proud to be part of that, and we have such a beautiful facility for our community. So that was really big in the town. And then just backing up a bunch of years ago, probably one of the greatest things we ever did was getting together with the Foot Trust, Jamie,
right.
Jim Finch, and myself. I called them the Brain Trust, but
because the town of Brantford didn't always run Foot Park.
We didn't run it. We didn't own it, nothing. But what happened on December 29th, 2015, the town of Brantford now has Foot Park forever. And the bank, the bank has the dollars.
Mm-hmm.
We write a grant every year. We've done more than $2 million of improvements down there, and you just have to go down there and see it, from the splash pads to playgrounds to new fencing to new lighting.
That's great.
So that's one of the greatest things in my tenure. I always dreamed about, because Joe T was really instrumental in getting Foot Park, and then we kind of lost control at one time, but now it's back in the hands of where it should be. The bank wanted to just manage the money. They didn't want to manage the property, and we did that professionally. So kudos to the town administration for taking that. That was one of the biggest assets one of the greatest assets we have in Brantford. We want to keep it forever, perpetual.
Yeah. So you're retired. I'm going to remind you, you're retired.
Yes.
But you're a professor at Southern, a professor at Albertus. You drive for the Orchard House. You're a Lions Club board member. You're a Brantford Community Foundation board member. You're a Brantford Festival board member. And you're running for the Board of Ed, and I'm sure I'm missing a bunch.
I'm on the Board of Ed right now.
You're on,
yes, but I am running.
You are on, and you're possibly winning, and you are running. See, you always correct me. Thank you, Alex. But what else am I missing, and how? What next?
Well, I just want to get back to the Tally Seapot event and the Community Foundation, how it drove me into that. So we had a meeting, Mr. Cosgrove, along with the superintendent of schools, and and Chris's great team. That's the other reason that I felt it was really important to be involved. And then with the beginning of school, to be involved, he built a great team there. I think it's a great team. I want to continue to see that to go forward. I'm sure it will. I want to be part of it. That's why I'm running, and I'm happy to be on it right now. And if not, I'll still be on the outskirts working with them. And that's how the Tally Seapot Fund came up. That it was in disarray. Tally Seapot Memorial back in the time. Not that it was done in bad faith. It was just things happened and things didn't get happening, and then we kind of lost not the interest. And I knew the Seapots personally, and I felt
Can you tell the people that didn't know the Tally what happened?
So Tally Seapot was just a wonderful human being, a young lady that was down at Happy Valley down at Penn State. Was come back on a mission trip, doing something good for people. And unfortunately, lost her life in a tragic accident. A beautiful woman that was had so much ahead of her, but she was ahead of her time. That's why she was doing good work she was on a mission trip down there. She was captain of the tennis team and the swimming team in Brantford, and that's how this whole process started. When they wanted to do something they wanted to do tulips for Tally. Mm-hmm. So, and I met, I know both, I knew Mr. Seapot, meeting with him, doing some projects in town, and knew his wife through my son back when my son was friends, in the same group of friends that Tally was with. I graduated with that group of kids in high school, and she was a great human being, and, what could we do to help that. So that was how it started, and it started with actually there were some dollars that were left over for this to continue, and we were coming up with different. What can we do by the tennis courts over there? We could have done some with swimming, but in the tennis courts, there's nowhere to sit. It's by the baseball field. So what they were looking for was let's do some stadium seating there, so people have a place to go.
Yeah, because the people are usually watching in their car from Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts, or they're squished on the hill and they're falling down. And the flowers were beautiful when they bloomed. I remember seeing Mrs. Seapot, down there. But we felt that there was something we could do long term. We wanted to do that. So when we got together, I can remember coming home saying, "Well, we're gonna, I was being the stakeholder representative. Yeah, I'll take that on. Maybe we can raise $50,000 or at least 25. So we kind of upped it. The town had, the Board of Ed first had about about $90,000. Then we found out the project was going to be more, and then the town, the Board of Ed went back to reallocate some of their dollars to the Board of Finance. Came back and it was approximately about $140,000. So I think it was 90 up front, then another 50. We're at 140. We're still short, maybe 60. And I'm like, well, how much more? With everything, with numbers, I'm saying, how much do we need? But
okay. So let's cut to for the audience's sake, because Alex could just keep going and going and going. I told him we're not editing, so I'm editing him right now live. So you have a fundraiser at Pine Orchard Club.
Yes.
You have a bunch of people there, and what's the end result?
The end result was I got my good friend Nick Torello involved. We had the meeting. We said, how can we make this perpetual forever? And I knew that because you bringing me into my mom's, and so many groups have done that, if I can raise, get up to $10,000, we can keep this forever. Well, we did that with right out of the box through Nikki Torello and some of the money we had from previous talked to Peter Burdun also on the Board of Ed and said, look, we'll take this on. And I'm like, well, maybe, and Nick was saying, we're going to have this event. I'm like, well, let's see what happens. And we never even put it out to the public. But make a long story short, we had that event, and it was the most love I've ever seen in Pine Orchard Country Club. I thought there was going to be 40, 50 people with some cheese and crackers. Well, it was a first-class event with carving stations and food and people. I just saw all this love in the room, and we had over 100 people. And long and short of it, as of today, 75 people have given donations, and we're at $73,500.
Wow! Congratulations.
That first night, we raised close to $60,000. It was so Brantford is good, and now it just got out into the public just this week. Pam Johnson did a beautiful article on it, and the sound will be coming out. And I'm sure there'll be more people that wanted to give. So we just wanted to make sure that it stayed forever. This is going to be a beautiful memorial to Tally. That's the part we were raising, with a beautiful memorial for and flowers, and that we have to continue this forever.
Yeah.
So that's what we wanted to do, perpetual care.
I think when I was on the Brantford Community Foundation board, we kept describing it like it's Brantford's best kept secret. Then COVID happened, and we came up with the Brantford Has Heart lawn signs, and if anyone made a donation of $20, they got a lawn sign. Then it sort of became popular because you're driving around town and you're seeing all these aqua with red heart hands that says Brantford Community Foundation and Brantford Has Heart, and so a bunch of people got them, and now I think people really are starting to become aware of how much the Brantford Community Foundation does. But if you don't know, you should go to BrantfordCommunityFoundation.org. There are so many different funds. Like I started the Kathy Ann Roding Scholarship Fund, and you did one for your mom. Greg Noble has one. There are so many funds that you could support, or you could just support them in general. But do some education or educating of yourself, because it's a great organization. And Guilford has one too. The same admins run it. Liza Petra, who's incredible, a genius. I loved working with her. But yeah, check out Brantford Community Foundation. And if you need help, if you need a grant or a sponsorship for something, just reach out to them. They have their own process, but they're very supportive and will support if they can, if it falls into their mission. So we need to wrap up because we are at 34 minutes. Holy moly. What the holy moly, as I say with Marcella LaGreca. No, but I have some other things to say. I describe your son, Dylan, as the man that got away. I should have married him. But we pretty much are related, right?
Yes.
because my freshman year of high school, it was spring, so 2000, was Little Abner. And your daughter, Megan, played mine and Kelsey Mulligan's daughter. Crazy. So 2000, how old was Megan then?
Well,
I'm putting him on the spot. He's like,
Megan was 6 years old.
6 years old. That's crazy.
5, actually. Yeah, 5.
So I've known you. Wow.
5, 6 years old.
And she was so talented back then. I knew she was a great little dancer. Her personality was great. She went on for 10 years, coach the Brantford dance team, won tons of competitions. Yeah. You must be so proud of both of your kids. Let's see.
They've done well, and Brantford's at their core still. That's what my wife and I, Karen, are really proud of them because they never forgot where they came from, and they're still involved. Dylan's still involved with some basketball, and Megan's still involved. She retired from dancing, but now I heard she's going to be a judge. So, it never ends for them. I think she's got it in her DNA. So, we're proud of both.
And your wife, Karen, is from England, as my mom is from England. They're both from London. Is she from London?
Yes, yeah.
My mom is from Chelsea, which is why my sister's name is Chelsea. Where's she from?
Maida Vale.
Okay.
Kilburn, and our first cat was named Chelsea.
Wow.
Megan was going to be.
You hear that? And she's so allergic, as am I. She's actually itching in hives right now.
Megan was going to be a Chelsea, but she looked like a Megan. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, so.
I love that. I will definitely vote for you, Alex, for Board of Education, as long as you promise me we're getting a community theater.
I knew that was going to come next.
Yes. Well, actually, when Jamie Cosgrove comes on, because we're not a political podcast, but now I want Jamie on. Jeff, come on. Josh, come on. I'm not political, but whoever could promise a community theater, actually, can't tell this on air, but right after the show, I'll let you know some news. Shoreline Theater Company's getting an award.
Very nice.
Yes, you might know about it a little bit, but I'll tell you, and you'll find out soon. I do love your quote that's on the community house wall, be the best you can be. You always wanted that from everyone, but all of your staff members. And you never, you didn't micromanage. You let us have our ideas and flap those wings and fly. And you just supported us and encouraged us to go big or go home. So I need to thank you for that.
To a fault sometimes.
Sometimes. Another thing that's to a fault, Alex, is your driving. You're a horrible driver. I don't know if anyone knows that. I can't believe you're driving for the Orchard House.
I'm a very safe driver.
If you ask
for the Orchard
Dale,
House.
Vic, Ricky, myself, there was that one time we all got car sick.
Yeah.
And we passed Brantford Point, a couple of the other beaches. Oh, I almost said something else. Brantford beaches.
We give our patients every Friday. I drive them to Brantford Point and back.
Oh,
and they love
that's so sweet of you.
So.
Maybe next you could drive for Canoe Brook Senior Center.
I'm not sure about that.
Too close to home.
Too close to home.
Well, because you did in your last few months, you were not only the Brantford Parks and Recreation director, you were also the senior center director.
Yes.
Now it's sort of merged into one department where Brantford Parks, Recreation, and Senior Services, and it's all great. It's all amazing. I know Dale wanted me to ask you about the DEEP officer, but I'm not going to because that's a funny story and we are almost at 40 minutes. Right. But what I want to give you the last word and then I want you to sing something, but I'm not going to tell you what until we get there. Because you have the voice of an angel, Alex.
The voice of an angel.
You have the last word. So what do you want to update or tell the Chattin' with Colin viewers about anything, your family, your career, retirement, board of ed, or all of your charitable endeavors? But it's just one thing, Alex.
What I want to say is that the one thing I want to talk about is I think most people were right about me. The first 5 months I was able to travel, things I wasn't able to do, and a lot of that I was able to do with my family. Went to some great places with myself. I went to Aruba, I think 4 times out of the last 16 months.
You came back very tan.
Went to Florida a couple times. Went to see some rockets go off. You will find me now at Tweed New Haven Airport. I thought I would be working there by now because I thought I'm trying to work things out there. I'm not sure, but I love aviation. I'm always around it. I go there to bike. I go there and walk. I bike a lot of the trails out in Westbrook. I do what I can. So I do have a lot of time, but still the biggest thing is not being the guy in charge anymore. It gives me a lot more free time to be out there. But I think I want to continue to, what I found out after those months was I couldn't just keep going to the hornet's nest and having breakfast every day and sitting there for 2 hours and talking to people. And I still will stop by there here and there. But I think with what I did, I still think I have a lot of good years left in me, I hope.
Definitely.
And I think I have a lot to give. And I want to do the best I can for this community, no matter where it is, whether it's with the Board of Ed, whether it's through the Board of Finance, RTM, wherever it may be. As a volunteer, I have a lot of volunteer. I'm going to continue the Sports Hall of Fame, the Lions Club. There's a lot of good work that we do together. Got you on that also.
Yes, you suckered me in.
But I think it's just there's a lot of time in the day now that I feel, and probably the greatest work I have right now, believe it or not, that I feel that I'm doing, and I'll leave on this note, is really working with the patients at the Orchard House. I always worked around them and with them, but at the Orchard House, working with those dementia patients gives me so much satisfaction. I only do it a couple times a week, but it brings me purpose of what they need. It's just, it's a great organization, and I feel a good part of that. So.
You have such a great heart. And you did say, I said it was the last thing, but one more. You did say you hope you live that long. Both of your parents lived a long time. Into their 90s. And can you quickly tell the audience you lost both of them very close together, very tragically during the pandemic?
During COVID, yeah. Unfortunately, they were relatively healthy people, were legacies in this community. Actually, both got into the Brantford Sports Hall of Fame as supporters. And, I was brought up they brought us up to through St. Mary's School in church. And it was all about faith and doing a good job and just getting an education. That's what my parents were all about. They wanted us to have opportunities that they might not have had. My mom was able to go back. She raised us, went back to school, but they gave us a really good core principles of what was out there in life. Hard work, to be involved with the community, do some volunteer work, and do the best you can for your community. Be proud of your community. And we did that all the way through St. Mary's and Brantford High School. Through our way was through sports, and now. But now, I'm looking towards Hollywood now. So that might be next. But anyways, but that's what they brought. They were. I was lucky to have parents, and the love they have in there. We had food on the table. We had one bathroom in the house. I'm actually proud that I'm in the house that my parents raised us in. I don't know how we did it, but we did it, and there was love, and we went out and we played. We had conversations with people. We anything that we had, we handled it right there. It was a totally different way to be brought up, and I was really proud of that. So I was lucky to live with the greatest generation there ever was, and there ever will be, as far as I'm concerned.
Your parents were great, and I'm so glad that in your retirement you can spend more quality family time, because that's what it's all about, right? And I need to thank you for your mentorship and friendship. You're really incredible, and I can't wait to see what's in your future. And I know you were a Southern boy, but I need to hear the Yale fight song.
Oh, I thought about that. Actually, you know what I am now? I'm also a Falcon. I'm called a High Five Falcon, but Billy Nascovich might know that better than I do. He's the dean over there of the business school.
Okay, but you used to sing this song.
Yes, I did, so I'll come back to that. So.
Okay.
I can kind of do that, I guess, right?
We don't need to pay for the rights here on Chatting with Colin.
Eli, bow, wow, wow. Eli, Yale.
Oh my God.
That wasn't a bad first take.
It wasn't. And I told you we don't edit, and that's great. I mean, Vic, Dale, we had such a functional dysfunction office, but we, like Tourette style, would just start singing that. And we had a couple of other things we'd blurt out.
Everyone said, do you ever watch Amy Poehler in Parks and Rec? I said, all my students did. That was part of their assignments with me when I was back in school.
I've never seen it.
But we could have made a better one than they could have done.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's what I'm doing now with Chatting with Colin. I'm like,
we could have done that. So, I'm just really honored that I was able to come on the show.
Well, thank you.
And I have one question for you, and then I'll let you end it. Colin, let me ask you this. Like, I'm thinking back of, I was on the other side of the table interviewing you at your interview.
Oh, my God.
What happened? What a difference.
Well, at the interview...
You're a star today.
Well, thank you. Like I said, I peaked at 13. my interview for the town, I'm not going to get too much into it, but it was at like 3:30. I had ran from setting up a concert at the Green to get the interview. It's during COVID. We're in conference room B. It's about 78 degrees in the room. We're all in masks. I'm sweating because I was just doing the setting up at the Green. It was supposed to be at 3:30, but I got there to the community house at 3:15 where I work. I worked there at the time and to calm down and to have 15 minutes. But someone there saw me and said, "Oh, can you come in early? We want to get this over with." And it wasn't you or Dale. So
But anyways,
But you guys wanted me to be like, yes, I helped raise over $100,000 for the Brantford Community Foundation. Yes, I did this, that, everything else. I don't like tooting my own horn.
we wanted you to be Colin Sheehan, what you are today.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm glad I got the job, but it wasn't the best interview.
Hey, one more time, all right, for our fans out there. Bulldog, bulldog, bow, wow, wow, Eli, yell.
On that note,
Thank you, Colin. I was honored, and thank you so much to be on your show.
thank you for joining Chatting with Colin Alex Palluzzi, and thank you for watching. I'm sure the next guest is going to be just someone as special. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
You know him, you love him, you're gonna want more of him. Here he is now, it's Chatting with Colin.